2023 was an awful year for a lot of companies in Hollywood, and I'm sure that a lot of them are hoping that 2024 is going to be better, but it does not appear that that is going to be the case. And now we've got tons of new articles coming out trying to start damage controlling, saying 2023 was hard for everyone, but 2024 could potentially be better. I have a few different things that I want to show off, but before we get into the topic, if you enjoy the content I create, check out the links in the description, follow me on social media, and consider supporting through Patreon or via YouTube memberships. So there are a lot of different articles, but let's start with this one by Variety. It says, strikes, box office bombs, and huge leadership vacuum. Hollywood says goodbye to the worst year in a generation, but I really do not feel bad for them. These are the people who are killing our beloved franchises. So many pieces of content that came out this year that should have been amazing have absolutely failed because fans are sick and tired of their BS. We are done giving them free passes and giving these companies the benefit of the doubt, and they are finally feeling what happens when consumers do not just blindly buy into their BS and they are freaking out over it. It says 2024 can't come fast enough. When the clock strikes midnight on January 1st, Hollywood will close the book on arguably the most tumultuous 12 months in a generation, with the town roiled by devastating strikes, the implosion of the superhero movie, and deep divisions on everything from AI to Israel. But as Tinseltown ushers in a new year, will it suffer from a monster hangover? Many of the most vexing issues remain unsolved. I do not think that 2024 is going to be any better for these companies. I think there's going to be major mergers, major purchases. I think that there are going to be many celebrities who come out and finally say, enough is enough. I'm sick and tired of staying silent on my opinion to try to make sure I don't lose my career. I'm giving the finger to Hollywood. I think that we are going to see some major shakeups in 2024. And obviously 2023 we did see some major shakeups and major things happening that people didn't expect, like the strikes. People didn't expect the strikes to go on for months and months. People didn't expect a company like Disney to see the worst year when it comes to financial failures that they have ever seen. Judging by the billions of dollars that they've lost. But funny enough, I don't think that this is going to change going into 2024. I think that it would take years for Hollywood to even attempt to get back to where they were. And let's be honest, even the best years that they've had weren't even that big in comparison to something like video games. The video game industry is making $300 billion a year, where Hollywood is making 45 to 50 billion when they have that high year, which are drastically different numbers. But it says there's a huge leadership vacuum, and that's not about to change, says Michael Nathanson, the former head of MGM Studios and Columbia Pictures. Bob Iger is not really that guy anymore. If he hadn't left in 2020 and returned, he would be that guy. I agree. I think that if we never went through the Chapek bubble, where they put Chapek in, they launched a bunch of projects, and they didn't know when to kill those projects. I think that Bob Iger would still be that guy. I don't think that Disney would be struggling to the degree they are now. Obviously, Bob Iger is one of the major players at Disney, and not just because he's the CEO, but when it comes to the message, he is definitely someone who has continued to say, the message didn't work this time, but it might in the next project. Let's greenlight another year of these projects. And I do think that if, he had stayed and they hadn't faced those billions of dollars in losses because of Chapek's, inadequate leadership during something like the lockdowns, they'd probably be in a better place, but I also don't think that they would be in the best place. Out of all of the articles that I want to reference, none of them mention the message and how consumers are, finally getting sick and tired of just blindly supporting a company like Disney, who is not coming out in creating the content they want. They've killed so many franchises: Indiana Jones, Star Wars. We had something like Willow that did so poorly for them, and loss after loss after loss, even with things like Wish. That was a movie they really expected to do well and did absolutely jack shit. I mean, you can't really be all that surprised to sit here and say, Bob Iger's not doing great for the company, because he's not. But also, I do think they'd be in a slightly better position, even if that's not an amazing position. And we've also just had a year where only 2 movies hit that billion-dollar mark: Barbie and Super Mario Brothers. And of course, Oppenheimer was right under that mark. And it's not all bad. I mean, I did enjoy Mario and Oppenheimer and believe they deserve to hit those numbers. But these 3 movies weren't enough to recoup industry losses, and none of them were done by Disney. I mean, we've even heard recently that Warner Brothers Discovery and Paramount are in merger talks. That's the level of that they're in right now, a level of not so good that they're in right now. I mean, yes, they did have the major hit that was Barbie this year, but even that is not enough to save a company when they've had fail after fail. I mean, when you look at Warner Brothers Discovery, they've had things like Aquaman, which they were really hoping was going to be an end of the year blowout, that was going to do fantastically, get them some earned money at the holidays, because it launched, for Christmas, and that isn't happening. They also expected The Flash to do very well for them. That didn't end up earning them money, but you do have to look at the fact that they are banking on very controversial actors and actresses, and there's only so many times you can expect consumers to show up when you're not listening to them, and fans have hit the point where they don't want to just go and blindly support a Warner Brothers movie anymore. Fans do not want to go and blindly support Disney movies anymore. We have seen how much these companies either mess up our favorite characters, mess up our favorite franchises. And then you have, on top of all of that, the controversies. I mean, I know that it is mentioned in here, but you also have, over the past few years, the waves of lawsuits that have gone on against actors, of course, Weinstein, and then you had the situations that ended up blowing up in Hollywood's faces, like Johnny Depp and Amber Heard. Everybody, in Hollywood seemingly supported Amber. We're banking on Amber to win. And then she ended up having to go into hiding in Spain because everybody hates her. Now there's probably no way that she's ever going to work in Hollywood again, but they banked on the wrong actor simply because they decided to go, we are going to believe Amber simply because she is a woman. And, in the era of Me Too, we could not dare support an actor who has earned us billions of dollars like Johnny Depp simply because he's a man. I mean, the state of Hollywood is it's disastrous, and I don't think that 2024 is going to be a much better year for them. I mean, obviously, Bob Iger's here to stay at Disney. Maybe he can actually keep his promises when he says they are going to be focusing on quality over quantity. But even that, what is quality to them? Quality to them is the message. Quality to them is just putting a little bit more money towards projects, hoping that it's going to make at least their budget's back, because we have seen a lot of financial failures this year from Disney, from Warner Brothers Discovery, from so many of these companies. I mean, only time will tell. Maybe 2024 will be the year that we put the message aside and that we actually try to focus on making quality content, that they actually do start trying to make products that appeal to consumers. I highly doubt it. They've been given a million chances and made a billion mistakes, but obviously only time will tell. But that's all that I really had to discuss in this video. Let everyone know your thoughts in the comment section down below. If you enjoyed this, make sure to give it a like, share it, and subscribe to the channel. And of course, if you didn't, make sure to give it a dislike. I appreciate your support either way, but I will talk to you all again in the next video really soon.